Covington student Nicholas Sandman has won his legal battle against CNN. Now, you may be saying, no, he didn't, Tim. The headline says right there, CNN settles lawsuit with Nick Sandman. It is my belief, based on the information we have pertaining to this lawsuit, other lawsuits, CNN's efforts, and the victories Nicholas Sandman had, and their statements before, that CNN caved in. So let me explain. A lot of people right now are saying Nicholas Sandman has settled. He's given up. No, I don't think so. I think they won. And I think CNN paid out a massive and ridiculous sum of money to make this go away. You see, CNN tried to get this suit dismissed. So did the Washington Post. The Washington Post failed. And now this suit with Nicholas Sandman is moving forward into discovery against the Washington Post. Many people said after that happened, CNN and NBC and these other groups and these other people better be scared because a judge is pushing this forward. And discovery means they're going to be able to request documents, emails, messages from people involved. Could you imagine what would happen if CNN journalists' emails got leaked where they were mocking Trump supporters or making fun of this kid? It would destroy what little credibility CNN has. Here's the other thing. CNN knew they were going up against it was an ideological fight. Nicholas Sandman and his legal team said they wanted to go to trial. So why would they settle if they had basically every single conservative, even the White House, behind them? Because CNN paid out some big, bold bucks. If CNN came out with a couple $100,000, I'd be willing to bet they'd say never going to happen. You know why? If Nicholas Sandman put out a tweet, I need your help. We need to raise money for this battle against CNN. We need to raise $1 million overnight. What about CNN? CNN knew every dollar they spend would be countered by every single conservative. And they also knew that the courts had already ruled against the Washington Post and are moving into discovery. So it seems to me, you want to take this into consideration. CNN weighs the cost of a legal battle, whether they could win or not, with the cost of paying out this settlement. But why would Nick Sandman settle unless it was a massive number? So it seems to me discovery is more damaging to CNN, and that's a scary prospect for a lot of people. Discovery, like getting your private, dirty laundry aired out to the public. So I want to go through this. I want to show you the timeline, some of the statements from these people involved, why I would say this is a major victory, although some people are saying Nick has given up. No way, dude. They won this one. They're still fighting, and I'll tell you why this is not them giving up, this is them winning, because they are now announcing they are going to be suing Nathan Phillips himself, the Native American man, for $5 million. Though the guy doesn't have any money, they're not done. They're pushing forward, expanding their fight, and going after, they say, 15 more defendants. If this was them giving up, they'd say, no, we lost the fight, we're failing, sorry. The court case against Washington Post proves they're on the offensive, they are gaining ground, and CNN conceded and probably gave them a ton of money. Because like I said, when they won against Washington Post, they knew they had the ground against CNN, and CNN did too. So CNN probably said, okay, what do you want? I bet this was a massive sum of money in the millions of dollars. Let's read this, see what's going on with this story. And there are a ton of other defamation suits. Just last month, Devin Nunes sued CNN when they reported that he helped meddle in Ukraine or something to that effect. And he says CNN is the mother of fake news. The tides are turning. And the tsunami is here against the fake news, their false framing, and their lies. I have, I believe, 4 other stories of defamation suits against the media. And you're going to want to see this. Before we get started, head over to timcast.com/donate if you'd like to support my work. But more importantly, subscribe to youtube.com/timcastirl. My new podcast show will be starting up very soon in the coming weeks. It's going to be conversations. It's going to be general interest, weird kind of stories, guests, high-level stuff, some politics. But if you like what I do and you want to see things outside of cultural and political news, subscribe here because we're going to talk about science, we're going to talk about culture, movies, and I've got some high-profile guests talking about major political stuff. So I'm not saying it's going to be, no politics at all, but youtube.com/timcastirl. It means in real life. Let's read the news from Fox 19 now. They say, CNN agreed Tuesday to settle a lawsuit with Covington Catholic student Nick Sandman. The amount of the settlement was not made public during a hearing at the federal courthouse in Covington, Kentucky. Sandman's lawsuit sought $800 million from CNN, Washington Post, and NBC. Trial dates are still not set for Sandman's lawsuit against NBC Universal and the Washington Post. The Post suit sought $250 million. A federal judge let a portion of the suit go forward after the Post filed a motion to dismiss. Sandmann's attorney, Lynn Wood, said this case will be tried not 1 minute earlier or later than when it is ready. The lawsuits were filed following an incident in January of 2019 where the Covington kids, you guys probably know all of this story, they were smeared, berated. You still have some of these really awful fake news smears by high-profile personalities threatening these kids and things like that. It's disgusting. They say, Wood said the damages were sought due to emotional distress Nicholas and his family suffered. He also said the family had to move from their home temporarily and that Nicholas was not permitted to attend school. A lawsuit is expected to be filed against Nathan Phillips, Wood said. He indicated that lawsuit would seek $5 million, but the judge said that Phillips does not have as much money as other defendants. We know it's going to be a symbolic lawsuit. They also plan to sue Gannett, owners of the Inquirer, according to Wood. He said he will bring that to the judge in the next 60 days. Wood also said there's a maximum of 15 defendants. Attorneys say the money they're seeking is not designed to compensate Nick, but to deter the defendants from doing the same thing that they're accused of in the future. Now, you ask, how is this a victory for Nick Sandman? He settled, there's no legal battle. A lot of people thought a victory would be in a trial, and I'll tell you this, yes, absolutely. If they went to trial and the discovery was aired, then this would have been devastating for CNN no matter what. I'll tell you this, man, out of context communications will absolutely be damaging to CNN. They would lose substantially more money than just paying out. So they found the happy medium, but with the advantage in Nicholas Sandman's corner, I can't imagine this was a small amount of money. This must have been massive. Like they were saying, they're trying to deter CNN. I'm willing to bet CNN paid out a fat paycheck. Check this story out. Let's go back in time to May 15th. CNN files motion to dismiss. Says reporting was factual, not defamatory. Let me ask you a question. If CNN was seeking to shut the story down, to shut the lawsuit down, why give in now? They were going full steam back in May. CNN actually said, you know what? We're going to get you dismissed. We're not going to back down. We're not going to settle. They went to war. A settlement today means, in my opinion, CNN caved. Let me tell you why. The Washington Post tried to get this dismissed, and you know what? They won. And everyone immediately started mocking the Covington kids, calling them dainty little snowflakes trying to sue. Too bad. And then a judge said, actually, at least a few of these claims are legitimate, and we are reinstating this suit. I bet Washington Post started sweating bullets then. CNN also, with their motion to dismiss, saw that they were going to lose because the judge had already reinstated several of the claims, which means CNN looked at, they probably looked at their counsel and said, first of all, it's going to cost us a lot of money. Second of all, we're going to move into discovery like the Washington Post is, and that's going to air our dirty laundry. So CNN calculated the cost of the fight versus the cost of defeat or even discovery and bad PR and said, what do we have to pay to make it go away? And like I said, on the heels of a major victory, there's no way in my mind Nicholas Sandman and his team said, we'll take a small amount of money. No, they were probably like, pay up, pony up the big fat cash. And CNN said, okay, undisclosed. We don't want this going public. We want to end it now. With that, let me tell you, Nicholas Sandman's battle was an ideological one. They want to deter the fake news. Well, the best way to do that is to publish the dirty laundry of CNN, go to trial, and wave that figure in the air. I think they got a massive payout. I think they got a serious payout. There was one post I was reading on Reddit. They said something like CNN's got like 20 billion in profits or some ridiculous number. I'm willing to bet CNN paid out more than you could possibly imagine. This dude just jumped into the 1%. Let me tell you that. So let me go down. Let me just show you a little bit from this Washington Post story where they talk about CNN. They say that the judge reinstated. So a judge reconsidered Monday saying he would permit discovery to proceed on 3 statements contained in Post articles. Now that's specific to the Washington Post. But I have to say, I believe CNN saw the light. They saw the signs on the wall. They saw what was going on and they said, end it now, and they caved. So Nick Sandman tweeted, yes, we settled with CNN. Todd McMurtry, his legal counsel, said, I want to thank everyone for the many good wishes received today. Now, L. Lynn Wood and I turn our attention to NBC, Washington Post, and additional defendants to be named soon. Let me stress this point, okay? I know I mentioned in the beginning, and then I want to go through some of these other legal actions that are taking place and why people are now fighting back and winning and why this is bad news for the fake news. We are in a new era. This is an ideological war. These media companies use manipulative tactics to smear people and then claim it was just opinion. Don't take it seriously. Like this. Rachel Maddow said that One America News was literally paid Russian propaganda. Let me make sure I get the phrasing correctly. Here's what she said. Really, literally is paid Russian propaganda. One America News is in court against MSNBC's Rachel Maddow in a $10 million lawsuit after Maddow said her conservative competitor, quote, really, literally is paid Russian propaganda. That is a statement of fact as far as I could see, right? Well, apparently, I think this case got dismissed. She won this one. You know why? Because they argued that she's not actually speaking facts. What she says on her show is just her opinions. So don't take it seriously. But she said really, literally is paid propaganda. What's the definition of defamation? To me, that's nuts. This is a story from December. Caught in defamation suit, Rachel Maddow's legal team admits she should not be thought to be presenting facts on air. That's the game they play. And Fox has done it before. There's a famous case back in the 2000s. Let me tell you something. If right now, okay, some conservatives said they wanted to sue for fake news. I know Devin Nunes and Dan Bongino probably wouldn't do this. Laura Logan probably wouldn't do this. But there are a lot of people online that could muster up ridiculous sums of money to win. Ridiculous sums. That's the point of the ideological battle. And so these news outlets are being put on notice. These GoFundMes are legit. You are in the era of crowdfunding. But here's what these media companies do. Let me use the easiest explanation for what the game these people play in media. Many of you may be familiar with the dihydrogen monoxide hoax. If you are, you know what I'm going to say. I'm going to call it hydroxy acid. That sounds crazy. It's got an X in it. Hydroxyc acid, if you inhale a little bit of it, you could die. It is used to clean like corrosives off engines. It's used in nuclear power plants. It is found in cancer cells. Like basically every cancer has this in it. And it is a leading cause of death. People lightly inhale this stuff and you will die. Yeah. And it's in the plumbing of New York City. And so we got to do something about this. Everything I just said was true, but hydroxyc acid is water. That's the game they play. You frame things in a way to shock and terrify people. Then they freak out because you've taken something that's factually true, but just overtly misleading, and they think the wrong thing. It's called the dihydrogen monoxide hoax. Dihydrogen monoxide means H2O. It's water. And so you tell people all of the absolute worst things and scary things about it. Did you know it can eat through metal? Did you know it's used to clean car batteries? It's just water. Water rusts metal. Yes, we get it. It oxidizes. And it sounds really scary. The media plays that game, and that's how they win. And then when they go to court, they say, Your Honor, that's all true. It's true. And what do the courts say? You're right, it is true. It is. We can't control framing. So we've got a bunch of these stories. I got 4 stories I want to just briefly highlight because I want to tell you one thing. This war is not over. Covington may have won against CNN, forcing them to back down. Because I will stress again, listen, if CNN said we're going to war and stuck to their guns, I'd say sure. If the first thing that happened was CNN said we're going to settle because we don't want to bother with it, I wouldn't necessarily call it a victory. But CNN countered back. CNN said, okay, you want to go for us? We're going to file a motion to dismiss. Now, it's normal. It is. It's the first thing they should do. And when they saw that they were going to lose, they said, okay, what do you want? What do you want? CNN backed down. They gave up. The fight was launched by Sandmann, and it was ended by Sandmann. CNN begged. They said, please, we don't want to fight. We're going to lose. We're going to look so bad. CNN claims in this ridiculous report that Devin Nunes flew to Europe to meet with, some Ukrainians, and he posts photos. Devin Nunes posts photos. He was in like Libya, and CNN didn't bother fact checking. And they did this weasel word game where they said, CNN has been told by the lawyer for Lev Parnas that Devin Nunes did X. And then they can say, that's true, Your Honor. They did tell us that. Did they fact check it? Nope. Just the other night, CNN claimed the president would make an address. And the press secretary is like, that's not true. They didn't even bother fact checking any of this. CNN is a fake news mill. They crank out insane lies, and then Brian Stelter has the gall to go on his show on Sunday morning and say, tune out the spin. Don't listen to other people. Yeah, because they're lying to you. Like I think it was Jake Tapper who said, keep in mind, you can't read WikiLeaks emails. That's illegal, but we can because we're journalists. Oh, please, dude. CNN, you are trash. Now, I will give CNN some credit because they do employ some, Republican voices. They have some, not a lot, and they do get dragged for that. But CNN is complete trash. The fact that they ran the story, it's pure propaganda. It's insane. And then I'm talking to friends and family, and they're like, I heard that Devin Nunes was in on the take with Trump. And I'm like, that's insane. There's no evidence. CNN ran hearsay of hearsay. A lawyer said that his client said that this guy in Italy said that the Ukrainian guy met with Devin Nunes, and that's news? So good, Nunes should be suing. We also have the suit from Dan Bongino suing the Daily Beast because the Daily Beast said that he was fired, basically fired from NRA TV when he chose not to keep working there. And people have done the same thing to me with when I worked for Fusion. I tried leaving my contract. They wouldn't let me. They paid me a bonus. My contract expired. I said bye-bye. And then all of a sudden, these people who hate me are like, whoa, Tim got fired. And they're spreading fake news because they want to make it seem like I was pushed out instead of I chose to leave. Same is true for him. But wait, there's more. Laura Logan, ex-60 Minutes correspondent, is suing filed a $25 million defamation suit over Benghazi article. They say the New York Magazine story stemmed from a 16 Minutes broadcast on October 27th about an attack on the U.S. government. Or let me start over. Laura Logan is seeking $25 million in a defamation suit against writer Joe Hagan and New York media for a piece published 5 years ago titled Benghazi and the Bombshell. It's from New York Magazine. And then we have one more, and this one's big. I got to be really careful about how I read this because YouTube will try and shut me down. But a Mississippi professor back in August who went to Georgetown Prep with Brett Kavanaugh is suing the Huffington Post because they made bold and false accusations about how they orchestrated an arrangement which ended in loss of life. I'll put it that way. They tried smearing him. It was fake. They don't get confirmation. And it's about time there is a reckoning. When I saw the news yesterday, I was happy to hear that Nick Sandman has won. And I'll tell you this, on a personal level, congratulations to the Sandman, family, to the legal team. Hopefully you got enough money that's going to make you feel better, make you more comfortable, make you more secure, because there's a lot of people who refuse to back down. I see when the initial suit against the Washington Post was dismissed, all of these far leftists and establishment type leftists started gloating and hoarding and blah, 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 and they were all laughing and mocking this family. And these kids were still getting threats. This kid couldn't go to school. They had to leave their home. Well, now they won. Now they got cash. CNN paid out. And I bet not only did it cover the legal costs, I bet this was a massive, massive sum of money. I don't know, man. I don't want to speculate. I think it's in the millions, probably, with the amount CNN was going to lose in a long, drawn-out fight, the bad press they would generate, the ideological, every conservative standing behind Sandman, they knew they lost. They tried to fight. They knew they lost. So this is a very, very cathartic, moment, I suppose. It finally, it feels good. It feels like you can fight back against the machine when they try and destroy your life. I had NBC News push fake news. Seriously, NBC News, the Today Show, showed my face and lied about me, claiming that I was pushing the Seth Rich hoax and stuff like that because I had commented on a Fox News article that claimed it was true, which they later retracted. They take an out-of-context moment. At the time, Fox News publishes a story where they're like, this is true. Someone asks me, and I said, I don't know, man, 65% maybe. Then they take that clip, now that we have the gift of hindsight, and Fox News has retracted, and claim that I was always pushing it. No, Fox News reported it. This is the fake news game they play. They put my face on the Today Show in the morning and smeared me and lied. And absolutely lied. Think about this. That means every host who has ever said something that was later retracted, you could pull that clip up and say they push conspiracy theories. That's the game they play because they don't want competition. They'll target you. They'll target your friends and family. And look, it's worse in other countries. In Sweden, some of these reporters show up to people's houses and they're doxing them. There was one story about a Swedish newspaper that apparently got access to private data through a commenting system called Discus and then used it to track down people who are anonymous commenters on the internet. These are not good people. These are vultures. Okay? You look at the content they produce about Trump, they're generating ratings. They have no interest in telling you the truth. They have an interest in generating shock content. And let me tell you something. There's a reason they're called vultures. They know it. I work in this industry and I know it. And we are trying to upend the system and do something better, do real journalism. But there's one thing most journalists don't want to say publicly. They love war. They love war. I'm willing to bet there was a self-pleasuring parade. I have to use more family-friendly language over at CNN last night with what's going on around the world. I'm going to keep those subjects out of this video for the sake of the video, but some major escalations are occurring in other parts of the planet. And I'm willing to bet the executives over at these big networks are cracking their cigars, laughing, because every time something dangerous, something big happens, that means their viewership goes up, and that's why they're obsessed with Trump. So they couldn't be happier. They want Trump in office. They love Trump because they get to hate him. Everything he tweets, everything he says is the Trump bump. They can then rant and rave and say, oh, heavens, look what the orange man is doing today to get those ratings. And that's why Covington couldn't be let go. They saw this out of context video and everybody had to jump in, every single person. The first time I saw this video from Covington, I saw a Native American man banging a drum in the face of a kid. And I saw all these people being like, oh man, Tim, oh man, what's going on? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. And I'm like, I don't get it. It's a video of a guy like banging a drum in a kid's face. What's happening? And then all of these other personalities, like even Philip DeFranco, posted videos like, man, I can't believe this. We got to call this out. And I'm sitting here thinking like, are they watching a different video from me? I didn't see anything. Like even if the kid like was just sitting there smiling, I don't know. Who cares? Then another video comes out. And it shows the Native American walk up to Sandmann. And then I see people saying all this stuff. And I'm like, I don't get it. The Native American walked up to him. And they're like, yeah, but he's blocking his path. Sure enough, I watched a 2-hour stream and I'm like, y'all are making this up. It was just a mob. You know what, man? We live in a sick society. You know what I mean? And I just watched this great clip. Someone tweeted at me about George Carlin. And he said, it's not the politician's fault. It's the public. Seriously. He says, if you have a selfish, ignorant public, you get selfish, ignorant leaders. And that includes leaders in media too. Yeah, we do have a sick, selfish, egotistical public. Not everybody. Not everybody. There's a lot of people who believe in protecting the community and doing better by our country, but too many people are selfish and ignorant. And that means they don't care what's true. They saw a bandwagon and they had to hop on because that wagon was heading down the road and they didn't want to miss that ride. Me, I don't care. I would rather live in a cave, wearing a loincloth, trying to start a fire with 2 rocks by myself, no resources, than to ever play into this psychotic game. So good on them. They did what was right by them. And let me stress one last point. This is a victory because Sandmann's team isn't backing down. They're increasing their offensive measures. They're targeting more defendants. That says to me, they're winning. They're gaining ground. They're pushing forward. They're announcing new attacks. They just had their case against WaPo reinstated. A settlement from CNN means CNN bowed, and they bowed fast. Good. Stick around. Next segment's coming up at 1 p.m. at youtube.com/TimCastNews. Don't forget to subscribe to my new channel, youtube.com/TimCastIRL, for general interest content. It's going to be, I guess some people have said it sounds kind of like Joe Rogan. Maybe. I'm a huge fan. But I think it's more so that doing this new show allows me to talk about things that I talk about with my friends that I don't actually talk about when I do shows. The stories I find are important. They affect culture. But there's a lot of stories I want to talk about that are kind of don't matter, but they're interesting, right? So anyway, stick around, 1 p.m., and I will see you all in the next segment.